Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode. So I changed the color in my room to the next class we're going to create a guide about. If you know your class colors, this is the, what do you call it? Light green? So welcome to my Brewmaster Monk guide. And yeah, I made a poll about which tank would you like to see a guide about, and the Brewmaster Monk actually won, what you can say, the poll. So yeah, that means Brewmaster Monk is the next class we're going to create a guide about. And I must say that the tank I have been played most in Battle for Azeroth is 100% Brewmaster Monk. And I really like Brewmaster Monk. I really like Brewmaster Monk, and I think it's a great class and spec. So in total, this is an awesome spec, this is an awesome class, and it's covered. So, if you're thinking about what do I get for watching this, well, you will learn about all these things. You're going to learn about the changes from 8.0 to 8.1. You're going to learn about the stats, which stats you need, which Azeroth trait you need, which talents for situations, and which rotation and gameplay tips can I give. So remember, this guide here, I'm not a professional, I'm not in method, I'm just a guy like you, or maybe even you are a girl, woman, and then of course I'm not like you, but you know what I mean. I'm just a gamer like you, and I like to do guides. I like to teach you what I think is the right thing to do. So in this guide here you will learn about all these things you can see on the screen, and after this guide you should be able to play this spec pretty good, and from that point you can by yourself build up a higher level if you want and be better. But I'm just giving you the structure itself. So should we not just continue with this guide instead of just keep talking? So I'm switching to the scene here, and the first thing we're going to talk about is the changes. So on the other class guides I've made, I have, like, you know, this big pages of changes, but for Brewmaster Monks we actually only got 3 major changes. So the first one is the big one. The effectiveness of stagger has been reduced by around 6%. This leads to direct physical hits doing around 10% more damage. There are no playstyle changes associated with this. You will simply require some more healing. So this is the punishment we get from Blizzard from patch 8.0 to 8.1. And I mean, I personally feel that it's okay. We probably was the best tank in the game beside Blood Death Knights. Blood Death Knights and Brewmaster Monk were probably the best in the game, and I think it's fair that we get some nerf. And also, Niausu's Blessing has been removed. All items with this trait will gain straight no chaser. It's a great, really great Azeroth trait. Orange can brew increase your armor by 76 and has an 8% chance to not consume charges, and that's the straight no chaser we get instead of Niausu's Blessing. Also, we get a new inner Azeroth trait, Exit Strategy. Rolling grants you avoidance for 2 it gives you some avoidance for 2 seconds, and taking non-periodic damage in this time reduce the cooldown of roll by 5 seconds. So that means that if you have a debuff on yourself and you get this trigger, it will pretty much reduce the cooldown of your roll. And I mean, it's a exciting Azeroth trait. I would probably not self-use it, but I mean, if you need it in movement, it can be good. It can be good. So yeah, that was the changes. That's, as you can see, no big changes. Only that we get 10% more physical damage. Ouch! 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 But I mean, that's how it is. So that was the changes we got. Now let's go through the stats. The stats. The stats is pretty quite forward. First of all, you need agility. Agility is the most important stat for you. And now you say, yeah, we know agility, we have it on all our pieces of gear. No, you are wrong. You are wrong, son. If you get a trinket, how often do you see agility on a trinket? No, you don't see often agility on the trinket. If you get a trinket, if you can choose either agility or haste, you take that agility trinket. Because agility is like the important thing. It increases your damage, it increases your healing, it also, what is it called? It gives you more stagger. Your stagger is reliable on agility. So the more agility, the more stagger. The more agility, the more damage. I mean, agility is like the important meta for you. So more agility equal godlike. Boom. Critical strike, versatility, and mastery are both read stats that are really good, and no one can really say that crit is better than versatility. Versatility is better than crit. Mastery is better than critical strike. These three stats are equal. So let me explain. Critical strike, of course, makes every time you crit deal more damage. But that's not the important thing. You have a passive ability, so all the healings you receive have a chance to crit and give you extra healing. That's a passive that only Brewmaster monks have, and I can actually just show you here so you don't have to think, well, what is that? What are you talking about? This one here. You have a chance equal of to your critical strike chance to be healed for additional 60% of the amount healed. So, boom, Celestial Fortune. It's a great one, and that is probably the reason for why critical strike is so important. Beside that, we have versatility, and versatility increase damage and healing you're doing. And as you probably know, Brewmaster monks are actually doing quite okay self-healing. So versatility is also a nice one because it gives you self-healing. Your mastery is... I'm taking the stat point as what the professional says and what I have seen on the internet. Probably, if you ask me, I'm a bit like, why is mastery that good? And if you look here, you can see here that each time you are hit by a melee attack or hit with blackout strike, you gain what is it here? You gain stacking 17 increase. You get stacking 17 increased dodge chance until your next successful dodge. That one, I'm like, okay, so every time you get a hit or every time you use blackout strike, you get a stagger up that gives you more dodge until you actually dodge attack, and then it will remove. Of course, I can understand they also increase your attack power by 17. So the more mastery you get, the more attack power you get. That's probably the wide reason for everyone is saying that we need more mastery. Because critical strike, more healing, versatility, more damage and healing, and mastery, more dodge and more damage. So, but both of those stats really great. You can't really compare them. They are all very good. Haste, you don't need haste because you are in every situation you're going to take this talent here called High Tolerance, and it will give you so much more haste while you're in combat. So you don't need haste. So just ignore haste. Just ignore haste. You don't need haste. Haste is not needed when you have that talent. So that was the changes, stats, and that was that. Now we're going to do the Azeroth traits. So you're probably thinking, which Azeroth trait should I take in my gear at the moment after this patch? And I will cover which Azeroth trait you need. So let's go to the scene again. So first of all, we have the Outer Ring. So this is the two Azeroth traits that I recommend for Outer Ring. First of all, Straight No Chaser is a really great one. Our Skin Brew increase your armor by 76 and has an 8% chance to not consume a charge. That is pretty good. I mean, The armor is of course a bonus, but the one with 8% chance to not consume a charge, that is insane. And the other one is Training of Niasao. Training of Niasao. And well, Training of Niasao gain up to 172 mastery based on your current level of stagger. And it's also again a really great one because you get more mastery, and more mastery equal more dodge and more attack power. So both Straight No Chaser and Training of Niasao is great outer ring Azeroth traits you should really think about choosing when choosing outer ring Azeroth traits. And then we have the middle ring. So for 5-man dungeons, world content, anything where you're just a 5 persons, I would recommend Azeroth Veins. Taking damage has a chance to grant you Azeroth Veins, healing you for 600 every 3rd second, last 18 seconds or until you are fully healed. It's really great for low, you could say, world content and 5-man dungeons and mythic dungeons. But for a raid, I would recommend when deal damage greater than 10% of your maximum health, you gain 62 armor and cause your melee attacks to suffer attackers to suffer 71 physical damage. So it gives you more armor, and everyone that attacks you get more damage back to them. And then we have Ablative Shielding. Falling below 40% health grants you 600 armor for 10 seconds. Taking physical damage reduce the armor granted may only occur every 30 seconds. So both Crystalline Carapace and Ablative Shielding give you armor increases, and they are quite good for raiding. I mean, versus a boss fight where you need to sustain and survive a lot of healers, it's pretty great. I would say it's really great. But for 5-man dungeons, I recommend Azeroth Veins, and of course, if you cannot take Azeroth Veins for 5-man dungeons or content like that, you can take one of those that we use for the raids also. And normally my guides, I don't talk about inner ring, but because we are playing tank, inner ring is actually quite important, because inner ring is all about sustaining and survivability. And here we have the 2 Azeroth traits I recommend. So just take one of them. You can take it. I think it will be very rare that you can choose between both, but these 2 are the one I recommend. When dealt damage greater than 10% of your maximum health, gains 121 avoidance and 121 armor for 10 seconds. That's the one called Gem Hide. Also, we have Impassive Visage. When you take damage, you heal 375, and it can only happen every 6 seconds. And those 2 are really great. I must admit that Impassive Visage is my favorite one, but Gem Hide is also really good. So this is the Azeroth traits I would recommend for the inner ring. So that was the changes, stats, and Azeroth. So now we need only the talents and the rotations. So let's go directly to the talents. So I will go through each row and explain why I would pick the one I have selected. So at the moment, Eye of the Tiger is the recommended one in this row. It deals more damage and heals more than Chi Wave and Chi Burst. So Eye of the Tiger is the one that I would 100% recommend, and it doesn't do anything else with your rotation, so you can just have a smooth, easy rotation also with Eye of the Tiger. So Eye of the Tiger is the one that I would 100% recommend. On the next row here, it's pretty much up to you. I would recommend Chi Torpedo. I like that you can actually use your roll and it gives you movement speed increasement. So you get like a roll and you get movement speed improvement. You can also use Tiger's Lust, but then you only get speed and it removes roots, and it can be great. Or if you just want another roll. But again, I will recommend Chi Torpedo myself. Then we have the next row where the choose will be between Light Brewing and Black Ox Brew. So if you really play your cards well and maximize your gameplay, Black Ox Brew is going to be the best one in every situations, but it really requires that you use it correct and you use it good. With this one here, you can reset your fight, you get full energy, you get full what is called charges of your Iron Skin Brew and Purifying Brew, and you're pretty much ready again with everything. And like, you use all your charges, you will use all your energy, boom, Black Ox Brew, and you're back again. And if you fail and use it wrong or something like that, it's not really that good. Light brewing is much more easy to you don't really have to think about it. It just reduces the cooldown of your brews, and it increases the maximum number of your charges on it. So it makes your rotation so much easier and your life easier as the tank, as a Brewmaster Monk. So if you want to be an easier tank, take light brewing. If you want challenge, take Black Ox Brew. So that's how you can play it. The next row here, Summon Black Ox Statue, is my favorite one in pretty much every situation. If you're on a boss where it summons a lot of trash mobs, for raids for example, some bosses summons a lot of trash mobs that can be really annoying, and you have to run around and pick them up. But if you use Summon Black Ox Statue, it just takes them all, taunt them, and hold them together. If you don't need to have a statue that will taunt a lot of mobs, Ring of Peace can also be really great. And I know that in what it was called Uldir, there's some bosses that really requires Ring of Peace, so the trash mobs cannot come by, because when you place this one here, the trash mobs cannot go, if they try to go into it, they just get pushed out again. So for 5 seconds you're kind of blocking away. Tigerfall Sweep is not really recommended. I mean, you have your stun, and you don't really need to have a lower cooldown on it. I would more recommend either to take the taunt one or Ring of Peace. And Ring of Peace will also interrupt every target inside it. So if you have like 5 trash mobs healing and you use it on them, they all get pushed out and interrupted. So Ring of Peace and Summon Black Ox Statue, depending on the situation you need them for, they are the best, and just ignore Tigerfall Tail Sweep. Bob and Weave is 100% the best one here also. In the next row, 75, it increases the duration of your stagger. That means the damage you take, all the damage you take while staggering. So normally, how long is it that you're staggering is actually on right now? Staggering is 10 seconds. So instead of, well, let me do here, stagger. 10 seconds, yes. Correct. So normally all your stagger damage is staggered over 10 seconds. That means if you get 1000 damage, every 1 second you get 100 damage, 100 damage, 100 damage, 100 damage. But if you take Bob and Weave, it's over 13 seconds. That means instead of 100 damage, you get something smaller. I'm not good to math, so I cannot do that. I will not do that math. But you know, it will not be 100 now, it will be probably something like 90 or 85 every second. That means you will get less damage and your healers will be more able to heal you up. It's like buying a phone and you pay for it over a year, but if you want to pay it over 2 years, it's going to be less money each month, but it's just going to be over longer distance. You know what I mean. So instead of only 10 seconds where you get this amount of damage, you get it over 30 seconds, and now the damage will be spread much more. So Bob and Weave is really, really good, and I would say 100% take this one, probably no matter what. On the next row here, Rushing Jadewin is winning in damage. It's really great for holding trash mobs in pretty much any situation. I mean, of these talents here, it gives you the best damage, and it's just really great to use, and it's easy to hold up, and it just makes your rotation with the extra global cooldown you can use much more fluid. So Rushing Jadewin is the 100% recommendation here, and I would take it in no matter which situations. On the next row, High Tolerance is a 100% must-have, I would say. Your stagger is 8% more effective, delaying damage, and you gain up to 15 haste based on your current level of stagger. So that's why you don't need haste, because of this talent here is giving you more haste. So what you see here right now, 1 1 1 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, is kind of my favorite spec to play with. But again, in some situations I probably maybe want to use Black Ox Brew, or I want to use my light brewing just to have an easier life. And sometimes I want Ring of Peace, instead of summon Black Ox statue. But else this one here, this one here, this one here, and this one here, this one here is 100% always. It's only light brewing and summon Black Ox statue that I sometimes will switch out. So that was pretty much the talents. So that was his changes, the stats, the Azeroth, the talents. Now we are going to cover the rotation. Oops. Now we're going to cover the rotation and gameplay. So before we start talking about the rotation and gameplay, it's much more important that you understand the main principle of your spec. So Brewmaster Monk is relying on stagger. The more agility you have, the more stacking damage you can stack. Keep in mind that magic attacks only stagger for 35% of the effectiveness. So that means if you get 1000 physical damage, it will stagger based on how much stagger you have. But if you get a spell that deals 1000 damage, it will only be 35% of it that will stagger. Also, we have, what is it called? The Gift of Ox. When you take damage, you have a chance to summon a healing Sapphire that is only visible to you. And if you go through it, you will self-heal. You have the Celestial Fortune that makes critical strike give you more healing. And you brew on your mastery that gives you more dodge and increase your attack power. So that's just the important things. But about your stagger. So I mentioned to you that your stagger is going to, so for melee damage you probably have 70, 60 or 50 stagger depending on how much agility you have, and on that stagger damage you get it in and it just begins to stack. But you can manipulate with it. You have this spell here called Iron Skin Brew, and you have this spell here called Purifying Brew. I also have them down here. So Purifying Brew clears 50% of your damage delay with stagger. So all the stagger damage you have, it removes 50% of it, just like boom, clears 50% of your damage delayed with stagger. So if you have staggered, let's say 200,000 damage, you can use this one here and it will be then 100,000 damage. So it kind of cuts everything in half. Poof. Then we have Iron Skin Brew. A swig of strong brew allows you to stagger substantially more damage for 7 seconds. So that means while you have this one active, you will stack even more damage. That means your healers will be much more happier for you, because you will not take so much direct damage, you will now take more damage over time. And it's much more easier for healers to hold you up when you just take small amount of damage over time. So 100% I would tell you Iron Skin Brew needs to be active all the time. And you can actually stack it. So you can see I can stack it and I can stack it, and now I have it for 20 seconds. Keep in mind it is only able to be on you for 21 seconds. So if you use it 3 times in a row, and for example let's say it has 20 seconds now, don't use it again, because it can only go up to 21 and you will waste 7 seconds. So always remember, you cannot go over 21. So if you're very close to 21, don't use your next stack, just hold it. But you should try all the time to hold Iron Skin Brew up as much as possible. You should, if you play really good, you should be able to hold it up 100%, because I mean, it will, with light brewing also, it helps you reducing the cooldown on it and gives you additional charge. So if you play it well, you should actually be able to hold it up all the time. And another important thing is that your Keg Smash is reducing the cooldown of your brews by 4 seconds. So that means now you can see, okay, I'm beginning to running out of cooldowns, and what do? Oh well, I use a Keg Smash and now it's almost ready again. So you can see it's pretty cool. And now again a Keg Smash, and it's pretty much already soon ready again. So if you just follow that rotation with holding up Iron Skin Brew all the time, spamming Keg Smash to reduce the cooldown, you should be pretty good on the defensive and your tank will not your healer will not complain about you. So again, Iron Brew, hold it up 100%. You should try to hold up all the time. Purifying Brew, you should only use that one if you are in the high end of yellow stacks or if you're inside the red stacks. But keep in mind, a lot of healers can also still hold you up even you are inside the red stack. Let me explain. When you get stagger damage, first of all you get a debuff that is green, like my room. So first of all you get one that is green. That means it's low damage. Then it becomes yellow. It's still okay low damage, but then just before it gets red, it actually begins to deal quite a lot of damage. And then when it becomes red, if you get so much damage, it begins to deal a lot of damage. And if you can see on your health, okay, my healer is not going to be able to heal me for all this damage, well, then you have to use one time Purifying Brew, and then half of the damage that you delay would disappear. So it should go from high red to middle yellow. If you're lucky, it will go down to green, but again, you know what I mean. So Purifying Brew, only use it if you are in a bad situation with a high yellow or in a red one, where you can see your life is going quite a bit down, quite fast down. But again, Iron Skin Brew should be used all the time to hold it up. Just hold it up, and remember, only 21 seconds you can have it maximum, so don't stack it over that. Okay, so that was the important things I have to say about Brewmaster's survivability. Now to the damage rotation. So the first thing I would do before entering a combat, I would precast my rushing Jade Wind. So okay, I'm going to run toward that boss, so using my rushing Jade Wind, so it's now used, it doesn't cost any energy, and it's just up and running. So I will precast rushing Jade Wind. And the next thing I would do is casting Kick Smash, Blackout Strike, and then Breath of Fire. Now I kind of started the combat. I use my Blackout Strike that deals a lot of damage and pretty good, what can you call, threat. Kick Smash, so that is your main primary bad damage ability, and also Breath of Fire should be used after Kick Smash, because if you use Breath of Fire without Kick Smash, it just deals damage. But if you use Kick Smash and Breath of Fire, you just put on the target on fire, so he actually burns and it deals damage over time. So you could also use Kick Smash and then Breath of Fire. So you can see here, Kick Smash, Breath of Fire, and Blackout Strike. It's pretty good. Now, if you're talented into Eye of the Tiger, it's very important you use Tiger Palm also, because Tiger Palm, as you can see here, gives damage over time, and it heals you over time. Also, it reduces the cooldown of your brews by 1 second. That is also important, because if you don't have your brews ready and you need to reduce the cooldowns of them, you can spam Kick Smash that remove 4 seconds of cooldown, and you can spam Tiger Palm that reduce 1 second of cooldown. Keep in mind, if you're spamming Tiger Palm, still save 40 energy for the next Kick Smash. When Kick Smash gets ready, you don't want to be out of energy. Kick Smash, every time it's ready, you have to use it 100%. You cannot waste any second where it's ready for cooldown, but you don't have any energy. So let me show you again how we could basically do this. So we could use Kick Smash, Breath of Fire, Tiger Palm, Blackout Strike, Tiger Palm, Blackout Strike, Kick Smash. That could be a standard world rotation. So the important thing here is that use Kick Smash all the time. Use Breath of Fire every time Kick Smash oil is active. This one here, Kick Smash. So use Kick Smash as much as possible and always save 40 energy for it. So just use it. Use Breath of Fire every time that it's ready and you have Kick Smash on it. Use Tiger Palm every time you don't have anything else to do. And if you need to refresh your Eye of the Tiger. And Blackout Strike is, well, strikes with a blast of chi energy, dealing 3500 damage and generating a stack of Elusive Brawler. An Elusive Brawler is the one here we have here. So you can see when I use it, I get this one here that gives me more dodge. So you can say Blackout Strike is actually helping you to get more dodge also. So, but again, it's so much important that you use your Keg Smash because it deals much damage and it reduces the cooldown of your Iron Skin Brew. Then Breath of Fire, Blackout Strike to get some dodge, Tiger Palm to get up your Eye of the Tiger, and you kind of had to find a rotation between that. Also, just to make it even worse, you have to hold up Iron Skin Brew all the time. So you can see now, okay, now I use it. Okay, let's put it up again. Okay, now we have it. So rushing Jadewin, okay, Keg Smash, Breath of Fire, Tiger Palm, Blackout Strike, and now, oh no, I have to use my Braves again. Oh, my rushing Jadewin, Keg Smash, Tiger Palm, Blackout Strike, and you can see it can be frustrating because you have so many spells you have to think about. You have to hold up rushing Jadewin all the time, you have to hold up Iron Skin Brew all the time, and then you have to use Keg Smash every time it's off cooldown, you have to use Breath of Fire every time it's off cooldown, and you have to use Blackout Strike for damage and for the extra dodge, and you have to use Tiger Palm to keep up your Eye of the Tiger and for reducing the cooldown of your brews. So you can say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 abilities you have to use all the time. So let's try again. Precast before we enter in combat, rushing Jadewin, 1 Iron Skin Brew, Keg Smash, Breath of Fire, Blackout Strike, Iron Skin Brew, Tiger Palm, Blackout Strike, Brew, Jadewin, Keg Smash, Blackout Strike, Tiger Palm, Brew, rushing Jadewin, Keg Smash, Breath of Fire, Blackout Strike, Tiger Palm. So the mission here for you is kind of finding the rotation between these spells. But I would say always precast rushing Jadewin before going into combat. Use 1 Iron Skin Brew, because then when you use Keg Smash, it will pretty much be ready again for a new cooldown. Use Breath of Fire, and then use Blackout Strike when it's ready, and Tiger Palm when you need to refresh your Eye of the Tiger. You could say Tiger Palm and Blackout Strike is not your important spells. You can kind of wait with those. The most important is to always use Keg Smash, always use Breath of Fire, and always use Iron Skin Brew. So always out with the Keg Smash, always to have active in Iron Skin Brew, and always have rushing Jadewin on you. So again, precast, cast, damage. So it should not be that hard. You just have to do a little bit. I mean, there is tanks that have less spells you have to hold up and use, but again, I also feel like it's a fun gameplay. So I would not say it's wrong. But again, if you have another rotation you feel is more reliable, leave down a comment of 100%. But again, it is just as how it is. With precasting rushing Jadewin, 1 Iron Skin Brew, use your Keg Smash, Breath of Fire, Blackout Strike, Tiger Palm, and you kind of just follow that rotation through again. Then beside that, we have our stun called Leg Sweep, so we can stun, it's an AoE stun. We have Fortifying Brew that has 7-minute cooldown, but it's a really strong defense cooldown, and only use it in situations where you pretty much think, okay, I'm going to die, or the healer needs some help. It increases your maximum health by 20, it increases your stagger by 10, and reduce all damage you take by 20, so it's pretty much making you godlike. Beside that, you also have Sin Meditation that has 5-minute cooldown. It reduces all damage taken by 60, and moving or being hit by melee attack will cancel it. the pretty cool thing here is that when you use it, the first melee attack you get by a boss is actually reduced by 60 and then it gets cancelled. So if you know that some situation where you're now going to get the aggro, you taunt it and the boss is going toward you, then you can actually use it and absorb the next attack he deals to you. That's a pretty cool one. You also have a self heal if needed. You have your teleportations where you can pretty much teleport yourself. You have remove all poisons and disease effect from yourself. Your taunt here. You also have interrupt, so if someone is casting a spell, you can interrupt them. You have your rolls. In my case, I have chi torpedo, so that means I also have movement increase. Yeah, that should be pretty much all the important spells. Awesome. So, yeah, I guess that was pretty much everything. That was the changes, stats, Azeroth, talents, and rotation and gameplay. And I'm sorry if I disappointed you on the rotation and gameplay, or maybe you think that was poor or something. But again, you're a tank. You just have to hold the rotation. You just have to hold the aggro. You just have to know how to survive. How do you best survive so your healer can hold you up and no one is complaining that you're easy dying. The damage part, it's pretty much it. If you also want to deal more damage, it's also about getting Azeroth traits to deal more damage. But this guide here was all about surviving and how you can be a good tank for your team. But if you want to be a tank that deals a lot of damage, it's a whole nother story. It's another. We have to focus on our stats, we have to focus on our Azeroth traits, and we have to focus on our talents and another rotation. But everything I showed you in this guide here is pretty much how to survive and how to be a good standard tank and not how to deal a lot of damage. So I hope you enjoyed this little guide. This is my first tank guide for patch 8.1. In patch 8.0 I think I made a tank of every class except paladins. But again, so thank you guys for watching. If you're still watching this long, I know it's a long video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave down a comment. What do you think about this video? And do you have any commentary or recommendation that you can give to other Brewmaster monks? Is there anything I'm doing wrong? Well, you cannot say doing wrong because this is how I do. So is there anything where you would recommend doing another way? Leave down a comment. Do you have a comment? Leave down a comment. So let me know. Let me know what you think. So everything I can say is thanks guys for watching, and we are almost on 3,000 subscribers. It's so amazing. It's such an honor. I've never imagined I will get on 3,000 subscribers. I will 100% do a giveaway when I get 3,000 subscribers. I just have to think about what would people actually that plays WoW think is nice to get. Maybe I should give out, the new pit you can get. This one here, the wool pin. Maybe that could be a fun one to actually give out. I am not sure. We will see. But again, thanks you guys for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking my video. I really appreciate all your support. Thanks for that. And see you in the next video. Leave down a comment which guide would you like to see in my next video. Peace out. And remember to drink Coca-Cola. This video is not sponsored.